Hey there, Sal here with Detailers Growth. Today I'm sitting down with one of our sales coaches, Patrice of Mujo Auto Spa. How are you, Patrice?
Good news, Al.
I'm great. Thank you so much for making the time to sit down. Today we're going to be talking about dealing with price shoppers. This is something that we've talked about in the past in previous coaching calls, but I
Yeah.
think dealing with price shoppers deserves its own undivided episode because there's a lot
Oh,
of different ways to go about it.
yeah.
So, I guess I want to start with the first step, which is the mindset of price shoppers. What is your take on, the thinking that you've seen personally with dealing with price shoppers, Patrice?
So, first thing that they do is just blur it out of the mouth is how much does it cost? So, you know right off the bat that they're shopping for a price, right? And
Yes.
they want to get the service as cheapest as possible. So, they don't care about quality, they don't care what product you use, they don't care about the end result pretty much. They just want to have a price that, for to be able to get a bang for their buck. And
Yes.
of course, then at the other spectrum, you still have the ones that are shopping for a price, but expect flawless result for a lower end price, which, as we all know, is just impossible.
Right.
So, yeah, price shoppers are kind of tire kickers, as we call them.
Yeah. And when it comes to dealing with price shoppers, I think there's two ways you could go about it, right? We want to identify the two different types, right? First is the person who doesn't really have a good understanding of what a coating costs to begin with,
Yeah.
right? So their price reference might be from a wax or a sealant, right? Something they might have gotten on their car, maybe at a car dealership. So that might be where their price is anchored at. But with the ceramic coating, they're getting a better product. They're getting a different level of service entirely. So that's group one, right? I think those people have a potential of turning into customers if we can kind of get them to see the value with getting their vehicle coated. And then the other group is exactly what you mentioned, Patrice. People who just want the lowest price, top notch service, and they'll do whatever it takes to get there. For the most part, what we tend to see as a marketing agency is those people gravitate towards people who are inexperienced, who may not have the best reputation. So I feel like those kind of price shoppers naturally gravitate towards their match, which is like somebody who can do it at a low price but just might not be experienced. This might be their first season into
Yeah.
detailing and ceramic coating. So yeah. And then one other thing, as far as like understanding the mindset of a price shopper, especially if they're coming from an ad, there's a lot of educating that we need to do in a short period of time to get them to see the value in the coding, to get them to understand the process and go from there. So yeah, let's dive right in.
Okay.
So Patrice, let's role play this as if it were a phone call or somebody just walked into your shop and they have no idea what the price
Okay.
is. So
All right.
how would that phone call conversation go right off the bat? I call you up at three. So I said, "Hey, I'm looking to get my car ceramic coated. Can you do it for $500?"
All right. So, first off, I would say, hi, how are you? All right. What kind of vehicle do you have?
2023 Honda Accord,
Honda Accord. Okay. What color is it?
silver.
Silver. Perfect. Have you ever had a ceramic coating installed on your vehicles in the past?
No.
None whatsoever. Have you had at least wax installed or sealant?
Yeah, it came with the dealership said they waxed it.
Perfect. So it is a sealant most likely that an install lasts between, say, 4 to 6 months. All right.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. So, as you know, a ceramic coating is just like a wax, but on steroids. All right. So it's really,
Okay.
really has a lot of performance. It'll cut your wash time in half. Your gray or silver car will really look phenomenal. It'll look like a coat of glass that's on it. Really beads. Somewhat resistant to micro marring. It's 4 to 5 times harder than your clear coat. Now, to come back to your initial question, can I do it for $500? My question to you is, what is most important to you? Is it the price or is it the end result?
The end results.
The end result. Perfect. Okay. So, what if, and just entertain me for a second here. What if I were to tell you that I will most likely see swirls on your paint, and if I were to do this for $500, that a good majority of them are still going to be on the paint? Is that the end result that you're looking for?
No, I bought this car used, new to me, right? I think the previous car owner took it through a couple car washes. or they washed it with one of those broomstick style kind of scrubbers, and it has a couple swirl marks that I'm looking to get out.
Okay. So I don't think you really care on the type of product that I'm going to be using on your car, but to be honest with you, since we're incorporated, we have insurance, we're certified with the ceramic coating that we install. Unfortunately, we don't really do $500 jobs here.
Mm.
If you care about your vehicle as much as we care working on them, then you'll soon realize that there's a lot of work involved in getting a car to showroom condition, even though it's brand new. Cars nowadays, the paint is very thin, it's very soft, it's very fragile, to be honest with you. So I would say that I think I know exactly what you're looking for as far as the end result is concerned. You want all the imperfections taken out. So you'd be looking at a two-step bare minimum. Now, is this a daily driver or a summer car?
As a daily driver,
It's a daily driver. Do you have any winter over there?
yes,
You do.
winters here are
Perfect. Okay.
kind of crazy. They get pretty dirty.
Okay. So, to be honest with you, I don't think a ceramic coating will last more than 3 to 5 years on a daily driver with the kind of conditions that you're in. I'll be honest with you, anybody that's trying to sell you more than 5 years, just run away because it's not going to last. It's not going to last that time, and you're just going to spend
Okay.
your money. You're just going to throw your money out the window. So, I'm just being honest and truthful with you. So, I think what best represents you is that I think between the 3 to 5 years, it will be more than enough.
Okay.
So my next question to you is to be able to find out which one is the 3 year or the 5 year that you require. How long do you normally keep your cars for?
Yeah, about 5 years. No more
About
than
5 years.
10. Yeah, between 5 and 10 years.
Perfect. Okay. So we'll forego the 3 year. We'll concentrate on the five. Now, with a
Okay.
ceramic coating, you need to come back every 2 years because we use Geon Infinite. So Geon requires us to, for the warranty purposes, that you come back every 2 years. Now, your maintenance
Okay.
cost is around $300 every 2 years. Okay. So for a two-step paint correction, okay, and to do all the painted surfaces, and as a thank you, we will ceramic coat your windshield. Okay.
Okay.
So that when you go
Nice.
over 80 clicks an hour, you don't have to use the wipers, so you have clear visibility. The rain's going to repel off the windshield. So
Nice.
with all that entailed, it's $1,500 plus taxes. And as I said, you have to account for $300 every 2 years. So that's another $600 for the next 5 years as far as maintenance is concerned. So you're looking at $2,100 plus taxes for the next 5 years.
That's a lot more than I was expecting to pay. The guy I spoke with last time, he said his 5 year package was $500. What's the difference here?
So most likely what's going on is that, did you ask him the brand that he was using?
No, I didn't get the brand.
You didn't
I
get
did
the
not get
brand.
the
Okay.
brand. No.
So what I would suggest, and I totally understand that, our prices are maybe not for everybody. I totally get that. But what I would suggest though is that you call back that person. Ask him first what brand that he's using. Okay.
Okay.
Second, does he do one or two steps? Okay. With that being said, does he do a free ceramic coat on the windshield? Does he
He does
have you
not.
come back
No.
every year or every 2 years? What is the cost of the maintenance? Okay. And one tidbit of info here, any ceramic coating, I don't care which manufacturer it is or any brand, you have to have maintenance done either every year or every 2 years. The maintenances will
Okay.
depend on the manufacturer. Okay. So those are questions that you need to ask him. Now, other question you need to ask him, is he a registered? Is he an LLC? Is he in corporation? Does he have any insurance? Because what happens is that, I totally understand that, he charges you $500 for 5 years. But if he damages your paint, what's going to happen then?
I'm
I
on the
can
hook.
guarantee you that you're going to try and reach him at that point and he's not going to answer the phone. Whereas us, we're fully insured. If anything were to happen to your car, we're liable for it. We have insurance. Okay. So that might be why that's $500. It might be something that he buys off of Amazon or eBay or something like that. The cheap stuff, that doesn't last, doesn't have a maintenance plan or of any kind, so it costs, it cuts the cost a lot. But I mean, buyer beware, you get what you pay for. So
Mm, that's a great. I didn't even think about that. He just gave me a price, said it would last for about 5 years. Didn't really talk about the getting rid of the swirl marks, but good to know. Okay, so let's stop there real quick, Patrice. Let's
yep.
break that down. Let's break that down. So, somebody calls you up. They said, I just want the price, right? And I want it to be a low price. Even better if they say, within $500 or less, right? So, when you hear that right off the bat, Patrice, what is your initial thinking?
My initial thinking is that this is a guy that is shopping around. It's a person, a potential client that is shopping around. So most likely he called other shops to get a quote, and he's trying to find a shop that will do it for the price that he wants to pay.
Yes.
So my mind goes wary a little bit with that, and I always turn the discussion around just like I did with you to go, hey, I'm not going to do this for $500. You're going to pay what I tell you that's going to cost you. So that's
Yes.
how you actually do it. You have to make
Okay.
them understand that for the kind of service that they're looking for, unfortunately, there's a price tag attached to that. And you don't work for $10 an hour. We're
Right.
incorporated, we have insurance, we have employees to pay, we have overhead. There's costs related to that. You have a maintenance plan that comes with it, you have a warranty that comes with it. That all these and the amount of steps that we do to the car to make it almost look flawless, there's a price tag attached to that.
Yes.
So
And I do like how you mentioned you basically said it like we are an established business. We're experienced. We've been here
yeah.
for a number of years. Like I think that right there is one of the most important things that we want to get across without, saying it explicitly.
Yes, exactly. You never want to boast yourself on a potential lead that's calling in or showing up. You don't want to
Right.
go, hey, I'm like this. I'm the best.
Yes. Yes.
You never want to gloat like that. You never want to do that. So in a very subtle manner, just like I did, I'm telling you that hey, I'm the reference you want to come to. But I'm not boasting. I'm not gloating. I'm just
Yeah.
telling you with the experience that I have, with everything that's entailed, I'm the right choice.
Yeah. And also another thing worth noting is the dynamic, right? You didn't sound desperate for my business. You didn't sound like,
No.
hey, $500 is what you were quoted. We'll make it work, right? You said, hey, our prices are actually a little bit higher, but you get the experience, the reputation, the quality of work,
Yes.
right? So it's worth paying more,
No, definitely. The
getting
thing
it done
is
right.
that what I see sometimes it's in their tone. Okay,
Yes.
they're going to be nervous when they're going to be talking to somebody. The confidence factor is not there, and the person on the phone line or even in person, the body language will actually speak volume. So
Yeah.
if they tell you, yeah, well, I said, totally understand. It's my prices are enough for everybody, but it is what it is. So I'm basically putting my stance. I'm elevating myself
Yeah.
to say, hey, this is what I'm telling you it's going to cost. If you don't want to pay that, I'm sorry, but we're not compatible.
Right.
So you can go somewhere else. I'm not saying it
Yes.
like that, but I'm saying it in a way that it feels that I'm not kicking them in the nuts to say, hey,
Right.
if you want to do business with me, then this is the price to pay.
Yes. And I think that right there is the first point to get across as quickly as possible is we have to break that belief of what they think it should cost versus what you're actually charging.
Yes. I
What are some ways that you go
don't get me
about
wrong,
that?
Sal.
Because
Don't get me wrong. There are places that charge way more than that, and I think that's highway robbery. And of
right.
course, there's other people that charge way less, which to me is just ridiculous because it does a black eye to our industry. I think there's a fair medium as far as pricing is concerned. And honestly, I think a 5-year coding with 2 steps at $1,500, I think that's just a sweet spot of a price to charge. So I'll give you a quick example. Let's say you have 2 employees polishing, okay? You can easily cut a car in one day at 2 employees, okay? So meaning you can do a ceramic coating roughly in about 2 days. There's 5 days of the week, which means it's 3 cars. That's $4,500 in one week at 2 employees.
Yes.
Do we need to talk about Ray?
No. So
This is just
yeah.
Ray is just a prime example of what you can do to actually boost revenue. The more employees you have, the more turnaround you have, the more cars you
Yes.
come in. But if you have the sweet spot on the price, like the sweet spot, I mean, it's just like golden. This is like gold
Right.
bars coming in.
Yeah. And one key thing that these sales coaching calls will help with is ironing out that sales process, right? Because you can have all the demand in the world, but if you're giving price right off the bat, or you're saying, hey, we can't work with that budget, or,
Oh no,
there's not that flexibility, or you're not setting those expectations right off the bat, it could bite you later on down the road.
the
So,
client. If the client hears, we can't work with you with that price, it means that you just don't give a shit, and they'll go, you know what? They're never going to call you back.
right.
And I can tell you one thing what's going to happen. is that they're going to talk about you to other people, word of
Hey,
mouth.
this guy's expensive, or this guy doesn't work with you.
So
You
you
know,
have to show mind and openness to people that come in, and you have to tell them in a way that you don't brush them off, you
right?
know. So you just
Yeah,
have to be careful on the wording.
yeah, and that is one of the biggest mistakes. That it is a confidence thing, like you mentioned, Patrice, right? Because you really need to have that confidence to say, "Hey, we can't do it at that price," but with if you really want that flawless paint, it's going to take longer. It's going to cost more. It'll be worth your investment.
There's a phrase, honestly, there's a phrase that I use quite often on my calls, and I say, from a scale from 0 to 10, 0 meaning you wouldn't even do it if it was free, and 10, you'd do it right now. Where are
Yes,
you between 0 and 10? So I don't care about the number. They could tell me 5, 6, 7, or 8, or whatever. The thing is, what I want to know is exactly what they're thinking. So let's say they give me the number 7. So I go, hey, so you're a 7, right, today, right now. So what would it take for me to make you a 10 so you book right now? That's a way of getting to the true objection. What
nice
is it that what the blockage is all about? And I can say 99.9% of the time, it is always about money.
price. Yes. Okay, before we get
Yeah.
to what I would consider like the closing side of things, let's
Hmm.
talk about how to actually explain and really build that value to somebody who has $500 in their mind, right? A very low price to getting them to see why it's worth paying more. So, how do you break that down to somebody who just doesn't have a good reference point for what a coating costs, right? They're a daily
Yeah.
driver, they're not a car enthusiast, they don't know anything about ceramic coatings, but they can afford it and they have a relatively new or nicer vehicle.
Okay. So I would go, look, I totally understand that in the past, people would wax a car for barely nothing. But as you know,
Right.
wax will last what, 4 to 6 weeks at the most, you know? Hey, you can go to any, department store and get a bottle of wax for $30. You'll have enough wax to wax it for the next few years. I totally get that, but you have to wash, you have to clay bar the car every time, and then of course you have to put the wax on, and then it takes time off of you.
Yeah.
So honestly, have you done that before? No. Okay, so it'll take you roughly between an hour, maybe 2 hours before the whole thing is complete. What is 2 hours worth to you? Every 4 to 6 weeks, you have to put in 2 hours. So most likely,
Yes.
if I were to guess here, you work during the week, right? Monday to Friday, you work
Yep.
7 to 3, 8 to 4, 9 to 5. And my guess is that your weekends are kind of precious to you, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess you're married, you have a wife, you have kids,
Yeah, we
most
don't have
likely.
kids, but we do have a dog that just loves running around in the park.
Okay. So my guess is that during the weekend, without you knowing during the week, your wife has already planned something for you during the
Yes.
weekend without telling you,
Always.
right?
Always.
Always. So if you're going to burn 2 hours every 4 to 6 weeks, which is roughly about 12 times during the year, which equals up to 24 hours, which is a whole day that you just spend on the car.
Wow.
Okay. So that's a lot of time. What is that time worth to you?
Man, if I could just get 2 hours back, that'd be worth a lot. I
Okay.
don't know how much, it really depends on the wax, the product, right? And
Yeah.
plus, I don't really know what I'm doing. So, it could end up costing me more in the future if I do it
Did,
wrong.
well, let me put it this way. Did you know that if you have plastic trim on your car and you don't tape those, when the wax touches that plastic trim, you're going to stain it.
I did
And
not
it's
know
not
that.
going to come off. Do you know how to get the stain off the plastic trim?
Nope. No.
Okay, so I mean, it's up to you. I mean, you can wax your car yourself, but we don't wax cars anymore. We put a ceramic coating on. I totally understand you have a set budget, that you want to work with. I totally get that. I'll put you up front here. I'll be very forthcoming. Would you work for $10 an hour?
No. No.
Not, I'm not in business to work $10 an hour. I'll be totally honest with you. I'm in business. This is a passion for me. It's not a question about the money. It's a question that I have pride. Okay. And I put my heart and soul into every car that comes in, and so does my employees. Okay. So,
Got it.
but at $10 an hour, they're not going to work for me either. Okay. And to be honest with you, I might as well close the doors because I'm not going to be able to pay the rent, pay the electricity, pay the products, pay the employees, and I haven't even paid myself. You know,
Right.
so I got to put food on the table just like everybody else. So,
Okay. So I get the time thing. I get, I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend 2 hours every 4 weeks
Okay.
waxing my vehicle because one, I have no idea what I'd be doing anyway. So,
Okay.
how does a wax compare to a ceramic coating? Why is it so much more expensive?
It doesn't. It's like orange and apples. So basically, a wax barely penetrate into the pore of the paint. It just sits on
Okay.
top. Okay. To give you a prime example, I wax the car. I take alcohol with a microfiber towel. I rub it on. The wax is gone.
Wow.
If I were to do that to ceramic coating, ceramic coating is still there.
Okay.
Okay, I
So
can't
it
take it
lasts
off.
longer,
No,
more durable.
yes, more durable, more resistant. It's more expensive because the cost acquisition of a certified brand costs way more money. So a wax is nothing. Okay, a wax they normally tell you to do that like shadow. You can I even seen waxes that were doing directly in the sun. Okay,
Wow.
ceramic coating you can't do that. Ceramic coating is very finicky. It reacts to humidity, to temperature. We have to be right on the sweet spot. So to find that out, you have to be certified and get trained for this stuff. To be honest with you, this all entails into the pricing structure of that. And of course, I'll be honest with you, I don't really set the prices. These are kind of map prices that my manufacturer tells me that I have to sell the product for. Even if you were telling me, hey, I'll set it on the side, you want to pay cash? Unfortunately, I cannot take that chance either because I can get my certification removed. And of
Got
course,
it.
I may get dinged by the IRS, which I don't want to, just for the warranty purposes. We have a paper trail, you have your warranty. I got peace of mind.
Okay.
You have peace of mind as well.
Yeah, no, that would be amazing. Tell me a little bit more about the warranty. How does that work?
So basically, when your car comes in, the first thing that we do is in our software that we use. It's called Orbis X. So we take the serial number. Okay, we input it in the software. Once your bill is totally paid, okay, we input the information into Carfax. It takes roughly about 48 hours for that information to be populated into Carfax.
Okay.
Then afterwards, we register your warranty with the manufacturer. So with Geon, we actually put your name, your address, serial number of the car, all the description, everything that we've done, and then we register that with the manufacturer so they know that the warranty has been applied to your vehicle. So everything after that is automated into our system. So in 2 years from now, our system is going to remind you a month before your appointment that you
Hmm.
are scheduled for the maintenance. And after
Got
that,
it.
2 weeks, then a week, then 3 days, then 48 hours, then 24 hours, and on the morning of, just to make sure that you do not forget your appointment to have your maintenance so that you respect the warranty.
Got it. Okay. No, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. The other shop I talked with didn't even bring up a warranty, so I'm assuming they didn't even have it. Again, I don't know the product, but it sounds like what you have is a little bit more top notch than what they
Yeah.
had. Okay, so let's pause there real quick. Those different points that you highlighted, everything from the process, the product itself, the manufacturer, the warranty, especially, those things as a lead, as a customer who was at $500, now I'm slowly climbing to 1,000, 1,300, 1,500, right? Just based off that information. So, Patrice, can you speak from your experience? What are some of the key things that you like to highlight to really get somebody to climb that pricing ladder, right? From going to 500 to 1,500.
Well, I always tell people, you can take our prices down if you want. You can call other shops. I know other shops are going to be less expensive. I do not use the word cheap. I say less expensive than us. I
Right.
totally get that. But again, buyer beware. You get what you pay for. I know my competition. I know they use which brands, so on and so forth. These are all good brands. These are all good ceramic coatings. At the end of the day, what's really, really, really important at that point is one, are they incorporated? Are they insured? Do you see any type of certification on the walls anywhere? Do you ask any proof of that point?
Right.
Okay. Then afterwards, can you ask client references? Ask for client references. You can ask me. I'll be more than happy to give you names of clients that we've done work to their cars I will ask them first if it's okay for you to call them. If they give me the green light, I'll be more than happy to give you the names and the phone numbers, and you can gladly call them, and you will see that we don't bullshit here. Okay?
That is a really
So,
good point about the social proof, because that, even just leading them to your Google page, or just
yeah.
mentioning, hey, we have 4.9 with over 200 reviews on our Google page. It speaks for itself, right? And I don't think a lot of detailers are using that as a point of leverage. So
No.
is that how you're working that into the conversation, Patrice? You're just saying, hey, I
No,
can
I
give you
do.
references.
I do. I do say that. And I'll be honest with you, there are people that have come to our shop that say, I found you on Google and I looked
Yes.
at and I read the reviews. He says, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So the proof is in the pudding.
That's a
So
great point.
if you're talking to a client on the phone, and I always ask them, how did you hear about us? And if they say Google, okay, did you look on Google? Did you look at our reviews? And if they say no, I say, can I invite you to go and read the reviews?
Yes.
As soon as I say that, they go, what am I going to find there? I said, well, we're 5 star. I said, if you look, we got 76 reviews and we have one star. That's all we have. And I said, if you click on the name of that person, you'll say that she one stars everybody. It's not because we did a bad service. She's just one stars everybody. Well, look at all the other clients. We're all 5 star. And you know what? The thing is, we just asked them to give a review. We didn't ask them to give them a 5 star. They
Right.
just did it. So
Love
of
that.
course, I'll tell them. So I don't tell them we have incentives. Once we complete the job, then I give them the Timmy's card.
Yeah.
So this is an incentive, $5 for 5 stars. So of course, if it is worthy of being a 5 star,
Yeah.
that's what I tell them. I said,
And you're
look,
not making them right
no,
or give you 5 stars, right? So
no,
yeah.
no, I'm not forcing anybody to do a 5 star. If we merit two or merit three, well, the thing is I asked them beforehand. I said, what kind of review are you going to be writing about us? And they go, I'll give you a 5 star. Perfect. I'll take that. If they were to say I'll give you a two or a three, I'd say, oh, okay, wait a second. Can you
Let's
tell
address
me?
it.
Can you tell me exactly what is wrong here? Because I'm not accustomed to getting a two or a three. So before you write that review, I want to talk to you about what exactly you think is valued at 2 or 3 stars.
Yeah. And this is where like the social proof can really change the mindset of somebody who's just looking for the lowest price. Because back to the mindset thing, somebody who's just price shopping, they want the lowest price without considering quality of work, reputation, social proof,
No.
right? Licenses, warranties, right? So like if you get them out of the just thinking about the pricing, right? If you get them out of that mindset and you can get them
Mm-hmm.
to think about these other factors, now they're more willing to climb up that price ladder, right?
No, definitely.
Okay, great, Patrice. So you talked about using reviews to really get somebody to see why they should go with you versus somebody else. What are some other things that you tend to use as a way to justify the pricing?
So cost acquisition of,
Yep.
of the product. Of course, it's no secret that COVID changed everything for everybody. I always tell we had to accept a 40% increase, which is 10% per year for the past 4 years because of COVID. I said I can't eat 40% increase. I cannot expect that you paid the 40% increase. So I said I have to find a middle ground. So I eat 20% and then I give you 20%. Okay. So
Nice.
20% increase is still a lot of money to us. And I know it's still a lot of money to you. But I said, if we tip the hat, okay, and we switch that around, and you're the business owner and I'm the client, would you still be in business by eating 40% increases?
There's no
The
way.
answer is
There's no
no.
way.
It's just, there's no way. So I said, we got to be realistic here. So
Yeah.
these are some of the pointers. Not only that, but as far as the pricing is concerned, I'll go with the quality of workmanship. And I tell them, I said, look, your car is going to be in a video on our Facebook page, and it's going to be up close. I show all of our installs from up close, just to show people the quality of workmanship that we do on every single car that comes in. So, I mean, it's up to you. If you want to pay less, I totally understand that. You have a budget restraint. I totally understand that. But I just don't want you to have a negative experience where you could have had a positive experience with us. You go somewhere else, you pay less, then you come and see me a month, 2 months down the road. the paint protection film or whatever, ceramic coating has not been properly done. You have to come here and I have to charge you double at that point because I got to remove anything that was done prior to that, clean everything, make sure there's no damage to the car, and then redo the job and then reapply brand new ceramic coating or paint protection film to your car. And of course, you have to live a positive experience because I have to renew your confidence in into the world the before car detailing. So
Yes.
I mean, there's a cost. I know we're more expensive than other shops, but you have to factor all these into account.
Yes.
So this is pretty much in a nutshell what I tell people when there's a question about why our prices are higher.
That is a very great approach, right? Everything from the social proof, and then there at the end, you talked about antidotes. How much do you lean into those? Like, hey, we've had this person who went with somebody who was cheaper. They ended up coming back. We had to
Mhm.
charge them double. Like, is that something that you leverage in the sales process, or just something that you kind of mention at a high level?
No, basically it's when I see that the client is on the fence, and I'm like, you don't have to believe me if you don't want to. I can give you the name of the person. You can call them up. They will tell you. Okay, and
Right.
at that point they go, oh, okay. Now they believe you at that point because they know people are not dumb. They'll know if you're bullshitting or telling a lie or if you're telling the truth. So
Right.
for me to give him the phone number and the name of the person and describe the whole vehicle and what was done to it, I said, this is what happened. This is what we saw. This is what we had to do. And I said they left off a 5-star review, and here's the name, and here's the phone number. Give him a shout. So at that point in their head, it's just a no brainer. They're not even hesitating anymore. They go, okay, go ahead and book me.
Yeah. And I think the reason why they go and pull the trigger then and there is because, you've basically broken down not only their pricing beliefs, but everything else before that, right? We're considering quality of work,
Yeah,
reputation, licenses, certifications, right? So all of those things, like you mentioned, Patrice, really do a great job of building up that value, right? This is why it costs so much. Right? This isn't just a regular wax that is only going to last a couple of weeks. This is something that is going to protect your vehicle. It's going to protect it in the long run as well
yeah.
with that durability. Great point. So, the next thing I want to shift gears towards, Patrice, is packages. Is this something that you offer? Do you have one package? Do you have two or three packages? What does your package structure look like at a high level?
Okay, so basically, as far as ceramic coating is concerned, we got four.
Okay.
So, like I was saying previous, we got two for the 3 year, two the 5. So we
Okay.
got a 1 step 3, and then 2 step 3, 1 step 5, 2 step 5. And
Got
as
it.
far as paint protection film is concerned, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 packages, and then we got the full coverage. So before
Got it.
getting the full body coverage, we got 6 packages that they can choose from.
Okay. And when somebody comes during that conversation, they have $500 for 5 years in their mind. How do you talk them down? Do you downsell them to the 3 year with a one step, or hey, you're looking for a 5 year? Our 5 year is going to be more expensive, but you're also getting higher quality. We're reputable, right? Where do you decide to go from there?
Okay, so you have to lower yourself to their level to be able to pick them up and then bring them up to your level. So I'll give you a prime example. They got $500. My 1 step 5 years 995. So I go, okay, with the money restraint that you have, and I totally get that. It's $500. We got a 1 step 3 year for 695. Okay, that's the best price that I can give you is 695. I can't do 500. Okay, so it's $195 more. We'll give you a 1 step 3 year. Okay, that'll remediate about 60 to 70% of the squirrels. You're going to be left with roughly 30% to 40% of them. It's going to be less of an eyesore, but there's still some that are going to be left there, right? Because
Right.
if you want that perfect job, you have to go to 2 step, and 2 step is like a grand for 3 years, or it's a 1 step for 5. But you don't want the 1 step; you want the 2 step. So honestly, I'm at kind of a loss to be able to stay within your budget. It's unrealistic at this point. So it's either you bump up $195 or you bump up $495, all depending on the
Yes.
result that you're looking for. What I can't.
And to give somebody more clarity on the difference between the one step and the two step,
Yeah.
Is this around the same time that you try to get them into your shop to demo it to show them the difference?
Yes.
Um, and how do you decide to do that? Is it, hey, this person's interested, let's bring them in the shop so they can get more clarity? Or is it, hey, just to give you more information, we'll just explain everything here in the shop?
So most leads, you're going to go and offer them the one step because you want to attract them with the lower end price.
Okay.
Once they're in here, once they're in the shop, and you go, okay, so just so we understand each other, what I told you on the phone was 60 to 70%, blah, blah, blah. This is what the car will look like. And I show them, I have a board on my wall, and I showed them the differences. I said, can I indulge you for 5 minutes? Okay? And you tell me exactly what you want. I quickly wash the car, clear bar the hood, dry it. Then I tape it. Then I do one step and then two step. I said, which one of the two finishes you like the most? 99.9% of the time, they go for the two step. I want that. Okay, perfect. So if you want this, it's going to cost you an extra X amount of money because what you want at the beginning is this. And once you look at the one step, they go, okay, well, yeah,
I
no,
don't
that's
want
not
that
going to
anymore.
work.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. And then once you remove the tape off the car and you wipe and you show them the difference, they really want this two step at that point. They really want the two step. They don't want the one step anymore. They're more than
So when
happy
they
to do
see
the
it,
extra.
yeah. So when they see the difference, right, between the one step and the two step in person, they're more willing to upgrade to the two step, even
Oh,
though
that,
it is two or three times more expensive than the one step, right?
it's better to come from a lower price to build yourself up than going from the higher up and try to go down.
Got it. So just to summarize, to anybody listening, if you're running ads, you're getting these ceramic coating leads, don't try to close them over the phone. Say, hey, this is the price. Give them a ballpark of the entry level package if that sounds like it'd be a good fit for them,
Okay.
right? And then really try to get them into the shop. Um, Before we get them into the shop at threes, how do you work that into the conversation over the phone?
So I always tell them, there's not one car is the same. Okay, some paint might be trash, some paint might be okay, some paint might be nice. But I said at the end of the day, and this is no disrespect towards you, but you don't have the eyes that I do. You don't work in the same field as I do. You haven't worked in this field for the amount of years that I have, and unfortunately, you just don't have the experience. So you're kind of falling
Yes.
on me. You're asking me for my help, and I want to help you. But in order for me to help you, for you to make the proper decision and a clear and guided decision, I need to see the car.
Yes.
And then I'll give you exactly, I will be able to tell you at that point, okay, this is what your car needs, this is the amount of work that's required, and this is how much it's going to cost you.
Yes. And when you were saying that, Patrice, I thought of a great point. A lot of the times it does come down to just that, right? They think their paint is excellent, it's brand new, but when you put it in the under the lights, it's a whole different story. So even showing them that or explaining that in person could really help get them to see what you see there in
No,
person and why it's worth doing the two step versus the one step.
no, definitely.
Great point. Great point. So now that we have that person there in your shop, they want to go with the two step. Now let's get to the pricing, right? Because now, they were at $500. They committed to $695, over the phone. But now, where's their new price at with the two step?
That would be at 995.
Okay, so about double from where they originally came in.
$300, $300 more. Almost,
Yes,
yeah. They came in at 500 bucks.
they're almost at a double, right? And they want the two step paint correction, but they want to commit for 5 years. How do you massage that to that $1,500 price point?
Well, it's like I told them at the beginning of the call, or if they're in person, I said, look, you want the 5 year, but you want to pay, X amount of money. It's just not, it can't happen. It just can't. It's just not feasible. Just washing, decontaminating your paint. I got roughly about an hour. That's 150 bucks. So $350. I said that's the cost of a one step paint correction. You want two. I haven't paid for the employee yet. knowing that my employee is going to work at least 2 days on your car because he's alone. So that's full 8 hours. That's 16 hours. That's $22 an hour. There's no money left. So as you can see, it's just unrealistic to think that we can get a 5 year, $500. So, and the cost acquisition of that bottle, this is not 100 mils or 50 mils, it's 30 mils. So one bottle goes into that car. So, and I said at the end of the day, I got to make a profit because I got to pay for my overhead and I have to warranty it. So it's up to you. If you want to pay $500, unfortunately, I'll shake your hand, and you can be on your way, and you can go somewhere else that they can do it for $500. But if you want the quality of workmanship, if you want the warranty that comes with it, if you want your car to look like a mirror, you're going to be the talk of the town when people look at your car. And of course, it's black on top of it. And as you know, black you see everything, but it's the most beautiful color out there. Then you're at the right place. But like I said, it's going to cost you $1,500. So
Nice.
I
So
leave that up to you. I'm not going to twist your arm. I'm not going to twist your arm or force you into buying something. You decide.
okay. So now you've kind of set that expectation of, 2 years, depending on how long you want the durability to last, between 3 to 5 years. This is what
Mhm.
you're looking at. What do most people tend to go with in your experience when they can't afford the 5 year, but the 3 years not as long as they'd like, but they're still getting that showroom shine? Do you let them stay at the 3 year, or do they upgrade themselves to the 5 years?
I can see people think. Their body language talks, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
they're
I know they're right on the verge of pulling the trigger on the 5 year. At that point, I'll put some incentives, and I'll give
okay.
him like a value to it. Yeah, hey, you know what? If you book the 5 year, I'll do you one better. How about this? I'll vacuum the inside of your carpets and I'll do the carpet treatment for absolutely free. That's 250. Okay. Then I will put a ceramic coating on your first three windows. That's $250. I'm giving you $500 worth of freebies. Okay. If you book that 5 year, but only if you book the 5 year, not the three,
Yes.
the five.
I love this part of the sales process, right? Being flexible, working with them. Because even adding those freebies, right, that cost you what, less than $50 in product for everything?
I want to say the carpet. Look, it'll take us what 15 minutes to vacuum the carpet, maybe 20, and then maybe $3 worth of product on the carpet. So honestly, roughly, I'm looking at maybe what $15 right there.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm really pushing $15. And as far as for the glass, I want to say maybe $2. So
Okay.
let's do a big round figure, $20.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm giving worth of $20 for free, but it's getting $1,500 right then and there.
Yes. Plus, like, they feel good about themselves. They're getting all these freebies. They're getting more than what they're paying for.
The psychological part is that the client thinks, "Hey, I got the upper hand."
Exactly. Exactly.
Make them
I mean,
feel that way. Who cares? Make them feel that they got the better of you. It's fine.
yeah.
You don't have to like the person. You only have to love the money.
Yeah. So, like, that right there is probably one of the most important parts. And
Yes.
I think something we could talk about in a dedicated episode, Patrice, is how to get somebody to feel like they got a great deal, right? Because no matter what, right, your prices are set in stone, right? You can bump it up, discount it a little bit, add in bundles, but your price is not moving, right?
No.
Because labor, overhead, right? All these things that we talked about earlier, you still have to account for, right? So, I think the thing that we're trying to highlight here is that you want that person to feel like they're getting way more than what they're paying for, right?
Yes.
That's where that feeling comes from with the bundles, any discounts that you want to throw in there, right?
Yeah.
And the most important thing when you're kind of giving those freebies or bundles, you want to attach it to a package, right? This is only if you do the 5 year, right? Because you're getting more money, you're going to get more durability, plus you're getting these freebies. And then on top of that, you want to add an expiration date, right? You want to give them,
Sense of
you don't want
urgency.
to let them thinking about it. You don't want them to think about it until next springtime or next summer or next fall, right? Because that time never comes. How do you add those expiration dates there when you're giving
I
somebody a good deal?
I build a sense of urgency. That's what you
Okay.
do. You say, if you take the 5 year and you book now. Well, if I think about it, can I come back in 2 weeks? It's no, no, no. It's today. We do it now, or we don't, or you're not getting that deal, man. I said, I'm not. I'm offering you this out of the goodness of my heart because I know you're ready to pull the trigger now, but
Right.
you can't change your mind. I said, this is what we agree upon. That's it. That's all.
I
So
love it.
you gotta make your decision today.
And with something like that, getting them to decide there on the spot, you don't want to do it in a way where you feel like you're pressuring them, right? But you're also bypassing a lot of objections, right? The biggest ones being, let me think about it, let me talk to the wife.
Yeah.
If you give them that time to think about it, they're never going to get it done, no matter how good of a
No.
deal it is, right? That's
Exactly.
why it's important to add that expiration date, right? The shorter time frame, the better, right? I know some clients do 7 days, 48 hours, right there on the spot. Whatever you find working for you, stick with that and always do it, because if you give somebody a really good deal or just a quote in general, they're going to keep that number in their minds till they're
Oh no, for
ready.
sure. So if you want to do it in a way that you're not pressuring them, you can go, hey, I totally understand. You need to think about it. You need a little bit more time. You know, it's a lot of money. I totally get you. But I'm giving you this as a freebie. I'm giving you that as a freebie if you book right now. But I totally understand that you need to think about it. But put yourself in my shoes, okay? Your car's here. You took the time to drive and come and meet me to discuss with me, okay? So your time is worth something, and me too, right? So we can agree
Right.
on that, right? All right, perfect. Okay. So as you can see, you know, I got a shop, I got employees and all this stuff. Okay. I went all the way to where I could. I can't do any more than what I've just offered you. And I think honestly, I was very generous to offer you all this stuff. I want to do your car. Believe me, I do. I want you to feel happy. I want you to feel like that 5 year old child that's getting a brand new toy. You know, I want you to feel that way when you get your car back. But I can't keep these incentives or the incentive that I gave you, I can't keep that going for the next 2 weeks if you need to think about it for the next 2 weeks. I think that, in all honesty, I think you know this is a very good deal, but I totally get it. You know, you need to think about this stuff. But honestly, I think this is the best deal that you're ever going to have. But hey, if you can find somebody else that is going to give you as much detail, okay, and as much incentives as we've done for a lower price, then so be it. I totally get that. So what do you think? Then you pause.
I'm in. Yes. You, as you there in person or over the phone, you pause and then
You
you
wait.
wait there. You wait.
First one to speak is the first one to lose.
So when you get to that stage and you outline it like that, Patrice, how many people pull the trigger right then and there?
It's not easy to give an exact number, but I want to say from 1 to 10, I want to say a good three at the most. Three out
Okay,
of ten.
nice.
There are some weeks.
So
There are some weeks. I'll be honest. There are some weeks which are a little bit more harder than others, and then all of a sudden, the next week you can book like 6, 7 jobs. So it'll
yeah,
be like 6 or 7 out of 10. So instead of
okay,
being 30% close rate, you're going to be at 60 or 70% close rate. So from one week to the other, it's never the same. But if we were to average, I would say roughly about 3 out of 10.
okay. So you so up until this point, we've outlined like best case scenario, right?
Hmm.
Right. They're interested, they can afford it, right? There's a lot of things that we're kind of assuming here, in this kind of role play that we're outlining here.
Yeah,
That way we can guide somebody on what to do if they do get a lead that fits that criteria, right? They just don't know what a coding is, they don't see the value in it, but they can afford it and they can benefit from it. So, I would call that best case scenario. Real quick, Patrice, just to wrap up here,
yeah,
let's go over worst case scenario and when to walk away from a price shopper, right? So I'm sure you've dealt with somebody like this
yeah.
who just wants the price. They want the lowest price no matter what you tell them.
So at one point is that, and I lived it. Okay.
Yes.
I had a client that came here and had a booked appointment. Okay. We were doing a full front PPF. Okay. And he wanted to have Icon Rock Clear installed in the rest of the vehicle. And he was asking me to do the headlights. And I told him, look, at the price I'm giving you, it's $100 more to do the headlights. Yeah, but this guy in Ottawa is doing it for X amount of price. I said, I don't care about the guy in Ottawa. I said, I'm not in Ottawa. I'm in Gatineau. Okay. And I know my competition. Okay. My competition is way higher than I am. There's at least $300 difference. So I said, where are you exactly? Oh, I'm at Bell's Corners. So you're 15 minutes from here. You drove 50 minutes from Bell's Corners to come here. I said, you're going to hackle me for $100? And the guy goes, well, here, give me a second. He calls the competition right in front of me. And the guy quotes him and says, yeah, I'll do the full front with the headlights for $1,500. He said, all right, how much for the ceramic coating for the 5 years? He said, oh, yeah, we'll do it at two-step for $700. All right, thanks. As soon as he hung up, I took his keys, I gave it back to him, and I said, look, you can take your keys, you can take your car, and then you can go back directly to where that guy is, and you can get service there. And he goes, whoa, 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 whoa! I'm already here, man, for my appointment. I said, oh, I'm canceling your appointment. What you just did was total disrespectful. Total disrespect for me, in front of my employees, in front of my business partner. And I said, I'm not going to tolerate that. I said,
Wow.
take your car, take your Mercedes, and then go in Ottawa. Drive back the 50 minutes, schedule yourself an appointment there, and you can pay the 1,500 bucks.
So, I mean, to that point, right? That was something that the lead, or I'm sorry, the potential customer did. You don't want to work with that person to
I'm going to
begin
have,
with.
the guy would have given me a headache. A headache.
Yes. And that's the most important thing there is if you can look for those kind of characteristics where they're a perfectionist beyond like an unreasonable perfectionist, right?
Yeah,
Like not a single flaw. I want it to be absolutely perfect. Plus, I want you to do it for $500, right? That
not
person's going to
possible.
be a headache more than
You
even if they tell
fire, you
you,
fire
"Hey,
them.
exactly. Hey, I have friends and family that I can refer you to," right? Or, I can come back in the future and do more business with you if you could just discount this one time.
There's a thing we say with paint protection film. It's called paint protection film, not paint beautification film or paint perfection film. It's paint protection film.
Nice.
They
Yeah, same thing
understand what
applies to
they
coatings.
no, because exactly when a client looks for perfection, they understand when we say that. They go, "Oh, okay." I said there might be flaw in the film that we don't have any control over. I said, you can't put that on us. It's not our
Right.
fault. Hey, I didn't manufacture the film. I only
Right.
installed it.
Yeah. And that's something that we've talked about in depth,
Yeah,
right? With setting expectations, giving people a
yeah.
good idea of what they're getting themselves into, how much
Mhm.
it's going to cost, what the process looks like. So, all of those things we have in the sales process on purpose, right? Because we want you guys both to be on the same page, right? As the installer and as a customer.
Yeah.
Because if you could break down exactly what you'll be doing, the benefits, how much it costs, why it's worth paying more, then you have yourself a repeatable and proven sales process that you can use for PPF coatings, detailing if you'd like. So you could really use all these things we outlined here to your advantage to take a price shopper and turn them into a customer at a higher rate, right? Like you said, Patrice, it could vary between 3 to 6 depending on the week, right? Depending on the year, really. So all of those things will hopefully help you navigate price shoppers in a better way, right? First thing, if somebody's really adamant about getting that lowest price, just don't even worry about them, right? They're going to be more of a headache than they're going to be a positive for your
They're
business.
gonna nitpick everything on the car anyway. So
Exactly. And this is where, you see all those horror stories on the Facebook groups, right? Hey, this person is they charged back the service, right? Or they gave me a 1-star review, right? So all of these things could do more damage to your business than just knowing when to kind of cut them loose. So Patrice, just to end here, what are some characteristics or phrases or things that you just look out for that kind of give you that red flag that this person is not the ideal customer. They're not going to be willing to work with me.
let's say I give them a set price on a package and they keep asking for more and more and more. That's the first red flag. Okay,
Mm,
because they're going to be picking on everything. Okay, then I have a tendency of not having clients wait unless I feel them they're going to be okay. Just for the fact that let's say you struggle with something, they're going to be going over in that area where you struggle, and they're going to be nitpicking that area
yeah.
to try and find a flaw somewhere. So another red flag is that I went to this other place and this and they talk very negatively and they in a bashful manner. So you go, okay, well the
Mm.
person's not here to defend themselves. What are they gonna say about me if I'm not there? So these are the kind of red flags that they go, oh well, the dealership this, the dealership that. My car is my baby. I want this to be like perfect. So on and so forth. They shine the car more than they shine their wives. So these are all types of red flags that you're going. Oh, you know what? During when I don't have any time, I go in the garage and I wash my car and I wash the engine bay like twice a week. They go, holy mac, man, this guy's a nut job you know.
Yeah.
So at that point, these are all red flags that go up and go, oh man, I don't need the headache. I just don't.
And anybody out there listening, don't take that headache because it will bite you in the butt later on.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, you just want to keep your sanity, your reputation, all of that. If you can just
Yep.
look out for those red flags. So, with that being said, Patrice, thank you so much for sitting down to talk about price shoppers and how to navigate them to hopefully turn them into customers and when to walk away when you see those red flags. So,
Not a
Patrice,
problem.
thank you so much for your time, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
All
Bye.
right. See you on the next one.